You watched that one? You felt it, and you probably still have the same knot in your stomach I do. The Chiefs fall to the Chargers, 27-21, and on paper, that looks close. But watching it live felt messy, chaotic, and full of moments that should have gone differently. Right up front, this is a painful loss, but it's not a season ender. What matters now is how the team responds. Let me give you the clean, no-fluff snapshot of what went wrong, what still gives you reason to breathe, and what needs to change before week 2. First thing first, the pass rush. It didn't exist. You know as well as I do that when you can't get consistent pressure, quarterbacks get time. And Justin Herbert had time. He sat in a clean pocket, stepped up, and picked apart windows. When a QB can throw 2 wide receivers who look high school open, you have a problem. The defensive line that's supposed to collapse the pocket just didn't do it, and that exposed the secondary in the worst way. Chris Jones had moments where he pushed the pocket, but one man cannot do it all night. If the rotational guys aren't creating disruption, you end up relying on design rather than impact, and design lost tonight. The secondary suffered the consequences. Shamari Connor got targeted and beat multiple times. Jaden Hicks, promising as he is, looked raw in coverage on several reps. Brian Cook had plays where the Chargers schemed him out of position and punished him for it. Coverage shells were being exploited, and basic assignments looked confused at times. You saw DBS pointing, or late, to rotations. That's on communication and practice cohesion, not just talent. When your rush is non-existent and your DBS are uncertain, opposing offenses will slice you up with intermediate routes and third down conversions. Now, to be fair, it wasn't all doom. The linebackers flashed. Dramont Jones and Dre Tranquill had plays that mattered. Tranquill's sacks were examples of bringing heat from unexpected spots. The run. Defense held up in parts. The Chargers didn't gas us on the ground. But those positives get muted when you keep giving up chunk plays through the air. The pass rush has to be fixed, whether that's scheme adjustment, better rotation, or adding a veteran who can hurry quarterbacks in critical moments. Flip it over. The offense. Patrick Mahomes still plays like Patrick Mahomes. Even in a game where things weren't clicking early, you could see the flashes. Scramble and deliver throws, last second, improvisations, and the third down magic he still has. But he had to carry too much of the load because the supporting cast didn't consistently show up. The first half was jittery, stalled drives, timing off. And once Xavier Worthy left with that injury, the field shrank. Losing Worthy's speed element removes a whole chunk of your vertical threat, and defenses can tighten up. Without him, the Chargers dared the Chiefs to beat them underneath, making Mahomes throw into smaller windows. The run game couldn't provide a knockout punch. Clyde Edwards-Helaire gave steady yards, and Isaiah Pacheco brought physicality. But there was no explosive run to flip momentum. Number 20, or 30-yard burst that makes opponents respect the ground game and opens play action. If you can't force a defense to respect the run, you let them play lighter boxes and load the box for coverage. The offense felt predictable at times after Worthy went down. Short passing and checkdowns are fine, but if that's the plan, all game, defensive coordinators will settle in. Protection was mixed. Jawan Taylor looked off rhythm and had penalties that killed drives. He's been a roller coaster player for a while now, and tonight leaned toward the rough side. Kingsley actually handled some edge matchups well, which was a pleasant surprise. But interior timing issues showed up on third downs where Mahomes had to scramble more than he should. When the pocket holds, Mahomes can make NFL miracles happen. When it breaks down, early and often, the offense gets forced into lower percentage attempts. Special teams had a weird but impressive moment. That last-second field goal at the half was situational brilliance and showcased composure. Then the missed extra point later stung, because in tight games, every point matters. Small margins like that pile up and change late-game math. Now let's talk coaches and game management. For all the talent on this roster, coaching decisions and adjustments factored heavily into this. Loss? The Chargers kept hammering similar concepts at the secondary, and it didn't feel like Steve Spagnuolo found the proper counter-adjustments. Blitz packages were used, but didn't consistently get home, and coverage shakes weren't there. On offense, after Worthy's injury, Andy Reid and Matt Nagy understandably leaned shorter. But the offense slipped into predictability. Sometimes you need a bold look, a double move, a trick concept, or an aggressive vertical sequence to force a defense to react. That wasn't there enough. Penalties hurt. Drive-killing false starts and holds show up on the scoreboard as missed opportunities. Juwan's penalties were costly. Other flags wiped out positive plays. And then there were missed calls, obvious holding on a final drive play that would have mattered, and strange moments like the Travis Kelce slap situation that left fans and commentators shaking their heads. Roster decisions pulled into the limelight too. Why activate or not activate certain backs when the offense needed an injection of explosiveness? These are questions the front office and coaching staff will answer in the film room. So what needs to change? First, urgency on the pass rush. If this team can't generate consistent four-man pressure, you need disruptive rotational pieces. Even short-term veteran signings could swing the pocket. Chris Jones can't do it alone. Second, simplify and reinforce secondary communication. Misplaced assignments and late rotations cost chunks. Spagnuolo must seal the communication leaks in practice and reduce confusion in game plans. Third, create or acquire explosiveness in the backfield. A true home run back takes one dimension off Mahomes and opens the playbook. Fourth, tighten up discipline. Penalties at critical times are momentum killers and correctable if addressed. Where does that leave you as a fan? Frustrated? Yes, but not panicking. This was week 1. There's a long season, and this roster still has elite ingredients. Mahomes Kelce, offensive mind in Andy Reid, and a defensive coordinator known for creating pressure-packed game plans. The margin between good and great this year will be how quickly those coaching fixes and personnel adjustments occur. If the Chiefs address depth and discipline, and if the defensive staff simplifies and drills, they can rebound quickly. Here's what you should tell me in the comments right now. Was your main takeaway from this loss defense or coaching? Type defense or coaching so I can pin the fan pulse early. Give the defense a grade A through F. I've got them at a D+, maybe a C- if I'm generous. Should the Chiefs go get an explosive running back? Drop yes or no. And last quick poll. Who's more to blame for this loss? The coaches or the players? Drop your vote. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that subscribe button. We're pushing to 5,000 subscribers, and every sub helps this channel. Keep turning film into content that actually helps. You understand the game. Smash a like if you want a week to preview next, and share this with another Chiefs fan who needs to vent. Bottom line, ugly game, concerning issues, but fixable problems. The Chiefs have the core to rebound. Now we want to see ownership of the fix. Expect sharper execution. Expect Spagnuolo to dial up adjustments. And expect the offense to push more downfield if Worthy's back. This is a wake-up call, not the end of the story. Leave your verdict, panic or patience. I'll see your comment and we'll break it down again before week 2.